Hi guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. I'm Jim, and I'm here with my partner Steve. And we wish you all. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and so forth. It's December 26th, 2020.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. One day after,
Yep.
and
Different Christmas for sure.
yeah, it was actually warm yesterday, and now it's freezing cold. Not even 24 hours later,
Right.
but I think everybody felt that the Christmas yesterday was different. Again, you have to keep it somewhat limited to X amount of people.
And we did. We abided
but
by
I
that.
think everybody did. The point is, family, friends, that type of thing. So it was quite different. However, we're getting close to the end of 2020. We got a week to go, and let's just hope.
We're all pretty happy to see that in the rearview mirror.
I gotta
right?
think. Yeah, I gotta think that's a general consensus. Let's turn the page, January 1, and hopefully this COVID thing dissipates and
Which
we
seems
can
to-
get back to normal. And I actually had a thought yesterday of I'm starting to forget what normal kind of feels like.
Maybe this is the normal
Like
now.
all those things we take for granted.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Everything from a restaurant to
Yep.
the mall
Yep.
experience,
Right.
shopping.
Christmas Eve traditions with
Yes,
family and so
yes,
forth,
yes.
all on the shelf.
But at the end of the day, family, friends, Merry Christmas.
Yep.
You know, whether or not you're in person, you can Zoom meeting and everything. The essence of it all still is.
Yeah, and we hope you guys,
Merry Christmas.
and all our listeners, we just hope you had a Merry Christmas and did the best you could. And,
Absolutely.
so as we mentioned last week, we have a new little segment we opened the show with, and this week it's my partner Steve's turn for the monologue.
That is correct. So I was thinking, so my monologue's going to be like the differences between the British and the French when they come to war all the time.
For our history fans out
Wellington
there.
and Napoleon. Yeah, no.
At Waterloo. of course.
No, I'm kidding. My monologue today is, I swear to God, my Christmas present I was hoping for was that DJ LeMahieu
Would sign a contract with the
would be wrapped underneath my Christmas tree. When I mean that, I mean the standard New York Yankee jersey that DJ LeMahieu has been locked up for the next 7 years.
holding it up at the press conference.
Well, I'm getting awfully concerned now. Now, I heard an interview with Brian Cashman on Michael Kay about a week ago. And Brian doesn't seem overly concerned that we're going to lose DJ LeMahieu. My only concern is that another team is going to swoop in and blow that number off the chart.
I'll comment when you're done with your monologue.
Right. I still feel confident that DJ LeMahieu will be a New York Yankee because he wants to be a New York Yankee. I mentioned something about a week and a half ago that X amount of players in today's game and very recently deserve to be paid accordingly to what they bring to the table.
Right.
DJ LeMahieu is one of them.
I got you. And you want him locked up for 5 years. I mean, that would be the press conference holding up the jersey, say he's going to be with us for 5 years, and that's a plus, right?
And the reason I'm bringing up DJ LeMahieu with my monologue is this is a no-brainer is my point. I would have signed him 3 weeks ago, or, I would have let him as his right to become a free agent, etc. Okay? You want to field some offers from the Toronto Blue Jays? Okay. My main concern is this Steve Cohen of the New York Mets, who's got more money, and we've talked about it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I still feel confident that he will be a New York Yankee.
Okay.
And again, I think it's a no. The only reason, again, keep going back and forth. It's a no-brainer. It's one of the few no-brainers to sign this guy and be a face of the franchise a producer, a guy who wants to win every single,
Yeah. That's the kind of player you want on your team.
intangible that you want out of a player is DJ LeMahieu. So that's what I wanted to do my monologue on today, was specifically DJ LeMahieu.
Right.
And I still feel confident the Yankees will sign him. And the Yankees better, be thankful that DJ LeMahieu wants to be a Yankee.
All right. Well, listen.
And I hope that makes sense to the audience.
And I think I understand your point. I mean, this guy he's a blue chip player, the kind of guy you want around. And I think it's going to happen. You mentioned, Steve, that he wants to be a New York Yankee. He can get $10 million more somewhere else, but you know what? He wants to wear the pinstripes, and I don't think you have anything to worry about. I mean, Cashman on the Michael Kay show, who, by the way, didn't reach back out to Sports with Mono and Mono, as we gave them a plug last week.
It's the holidays.
Okay, well, let's hope. I think the LeMahieu to the Yankees is a done deal. And like I said, if you have a choice between playing with the Blue Jays or the New York Yankees, history prevails.
Right, and I will say, listening to Brian Cashman on that interview, he didn't seem overly concerned.
Right.
All right, and Hal Steinbrenner's defense, Hal is not cheap, right? Is he trying to rein it in a bit? But at the end of the day, the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, I keep harping on, the Mets, they're going to be the biggest spenders, as always, going forward.
And I heard the interview also with Cashman, and I knew Michael Kay was going to take this road by... Cashman made a statement saying, we want to sign him at all cost. And then Kay jumps in and says, don't you think you lose negotiation leverage on that? And I said, not at all. They know exactly what DJ LeMahieu wants to make, and they're going to give it to him. And he's going to be... Let's put that to bed.
Listen, I also understand it's, George Costanza. We're negotiating. We're negotiating.
It's called negotiation.
And then Jerry makes it like, normally you negotiate for higher money, not lower money.
The object is to make it go higher.
But my point is, that's why I'm doing the monologue. It's December 26th, and DJ LeMahieu is not signed yet.
He'll be in pinstripes at spring
training. He better be.
So let's move on. Good monologue, Steve. I'll be on deck next week with our third installment of the monologue.
Okay.
Our segment is sponsored by Coriano Trucking. As we mentioned, they have relocated. They're in New York State, but loyal supporter of the show, big sponsor, and you have any trucking needs, you call Coriano.
Absolutely. Get from point A to B. No doubt.
All right, so let's start off with college football, right? The college football Final Four is kind of set.
Not kind of set.
We talked about it, and I asked before the show, you don't see Alabama, Notre Dame very, very often, but, we did in 2013, right? Notre Dame got spanked and so forth, but it's Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson. What'd you think about Dabo Swinney throwing some shade over at Ohio State, saying he had them 11th, yeah.
You know what? I looked at it. Dabo Swinney. I get what he's saying.
Yeah,
I get what he's saying.
You don't question Dabo Swinney. I mean,
you don't, but obviously you do a double take and say, 11th, is he dissing him? They've only played, 5 games?
Yep.
I mean, there's some credence to what he's saying. Is it a diss? Of course it is. However, I'm all in on Clemson. I don't think Ohio State beats Clemson.
I think
Trevor Lawrence is the difference. Ed Tenay, Clemson's healthy, and I look for Clemson absolutely to advance to the national championship game.
How about the Alabama-Notre Dame game?
The Alabama game, again, the last time they played was the national championship game, 2013. However, Notre Dame came into that game, with the Manti Te'o
Scandal.
Manti, unfortunately,
Got it.
the dead fiance that he never met.
Yeah. Which turned out to be Elf from.
God.
I don't know what it
No,
was.
I'm making light of it, but the
It's
fact
crazy
of the
situation.
matter is that game,
Yeah.
to Mike Golick Jr.'s credit, who played in the game, he was the guard on Notre Dame. Mike Golick Jr. and I commented recently about the game. I don't even think they got to the second quarter, and they knew, like
They were overmatched.
oh
Yeah.
my God, they couldn't wait for the game to end. Do I think it's going to be the same? I think we've been watching Alabama score 50 plus points like it's nothing.
And
Right?
I know they got two Heisman Trophy finalists,
I
and
was gonna-
Devontae Smith and Mac Jones,
I
and
was-
I know you think one of those two are going to win it, right?
Yeah.
I still think there's an outside chance Trevor Lawrence could win the Heisman
He's
Trophy.
not winning the Heisman Trophy.
Okay?
Do I think it's going to be a repeat of 2013? I think Alabama's going to score at least 40 points. I can't see Notre Dame keeping. Listen,
I didn't see him getting spanked by Clemson.
I
as
can
bad
see.
as they
I can
did.
see because Alabama's defense
Yeah.
has given up a lot of points.
Yeah, they
I can.
score a lot.
I can see this as a 48-24 victory, but Alabama Clemson for the 49th consecutive year is going to play for the national championship.
Okay.
And then I'm going to leave my prediction for that once we get to it.
You know, from
But go-
from a sports show perspective, I would love to disagree with you, but I don't. I think Alabama's too loaded,
Yeah.
and I think Saban is chomping at the bit to get another shot at Dabo Sweeney.
Sure,
Right?
and I love it. And don't get me wrong.
Me too.
You know why? Because they're the two best teams. They still consistently are the two best teams.
Yeah.
And back to the Heisman Trophy. So the Final Four, like you said, two are Alabama
Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, Trevor Lawrence,
and
Kyle Trask. Right?
I think there's a real shot Devontae Smith wins it. I think Mac Jones comes in second. I think Trask should come in third, and Lawrence will be fourth. And the only reason Trevor Lawrence is not
Because he missed a couple
is
games.
because he has missed a couple games.
But you saw how important
this
he was when he
Devontae-
did come back and play.
Well, we
right?
talked about it. It was a 10-point swing for Clemson, and you saw it was night and day.
You bet it.
I think Devontae Smith, with his stats, is probably going to win it, but I would vote for Mac Jones.
Okay.
Me personally. I think Mac Jones deserves to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year.
And I went with Lawrence being out and then him coming back and just, showing everybody what kind of player he is. I think he has an outside shot.
No.
I'm going to say potentially Lawrence number 1, Mac Jones 2, and Devontae Smith 3.
Trevor Lawrence is not winning the Heisman Trophy.
He shouldn't be penalized because he missed 3 games.
Then why should Ohio State be penalized playing 5 games and Dabo Sweeney making them 11?
I think because we know that they're an outstanding football team. That's why, and that's the television
But
they
you
need.
see what I'm saying?
I got you.
It's all subjective.
Yep. So listen, we're looking forward to the
But
college
yeah,
football.
I can't wait for these games. I mean, that's what it's about.
And I know there was
just
one game-
speaking on college football.
Yeah, you wanted to bring up one other
Today,
thing.
if you got nothing to do and whatever, Coastal Carolina is playing today, and they're playing Liberty. All right, and it's unfortunately the Reverend Jerry Falwell is not still alive to witness
To see
this.
his son get disbarred from. Yeah, I know.
No, but Coastal's playing a 9-1 Liberty team.
Yep.
All right, now
And I was impressed with them beating BYU.
they're
believe me.
11-0, and I tell you what, they beat BYU, and BYU is pretty good this year.
I think Zach Wilson's an awesome quarterback. Too.
I'll get to Zach Wilson. I was going to follow up with that. But watch Coastal Carolina today. They're going to go 12-0, I think, and I think they win. And it's great. They got 12 games in. That's awesome.
Yeah, they do
And we
play
talked
every
about
week.
Coastal. Coastal is a nice destination for baseball and football. And they had the feel of like UCF a couple years ago. UCF going 11-0, 12 or whatever it was, the mythical national champions.
Yep.
But I think it's a good story for today, the day after Christmas, watching college football.
Yep.
It's a handful of games, but that's a game I'm definitely going to make a point of watching. Now back to Zach Wilson, you referenced, because Coastal beat BYU.
I watched
Zach Wilson is going to be a pretty good. He is a good quarterback. I read a nice article on him this week. Big fan. He's got these like intangibles that I love as an ex-quarterback.
And I don't know, is he a relative quarterback at BYU of Mark Wilson by any chance?
No, it didn't come up.
Okay.
It did not come up.
I can see how
I can see
inquire.
that. But I think Zach Wilson is going to translate. I think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback.
I do too, except who I parallel him to was Colt McCoy. Remember Colt McCoy at Texas? We kind of thought he would translate, and now he's okay.
Nah.
He's a good career, but parallels there. Is Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence?
No, he's not the physical.
What do you think about
specimen.
Mac Jones's career potential in the NFL?
Hey.
I'm curious to ask you.
I can't answer
Does that translate?
I think it could. Mac Jones is a great story.
Couldn't be a Greg McAvoy.
Now
kind of
listen,
thing?
I could go off for 20 minutes on Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, but I'm just going to cut to the chase. For our audience, look up Zach Wilson, look up Mac Jones, read about them. They're stories. They're great stories.
They are good stories.
They're outstanding stories. Zach Wilson, I'm a big fan of, and I think Zach Wilson is going to translate to the NFL because he's got that. He's got the it factor.
I know,
That's
but
what I'm trying to say. So look it up yourselves.
And I took it on the chin because, one of our listeners, Kenny Backer, told me Coastal Carolina was going to beat BYU. And I said, not with Zach Wilson, they're not. And they did.
No, I'll give him credit because
They closed the deal against Liberty.
Listen,
today.
we didn't talk about it live, but, to be honest, I would have taken BYU and Zach Wilson against Coastal Carolina.
I was all over it.
Kenny, that's a good call.
Yes, it was.
And you can wish me a Merry Christmas anytime you want, Kenny. I'm kidding.
Maybe emails down or
Oh,
something.
your server's down again?
But anyway, college football is exciting. Let's move on to the NFL, Steve. Right?
Sure.
Couple of games it was a game last night, right? Christmas Day. Hasn't been the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember that game, 1973, Ed Podolak against the Dolphins? That's when I was we were really into NFL football.
That was like the overtime. That's
Double overtime?
Yeah, that's when overtime was overtime.
Right.
That's one of the most iconic games of our youth. Mr. Gambini. Mr. Gambini.
What's a you?
No, but that was the Miami Dolphins, KC Chiefs. You're right. Ed Podolak. Ed Podolak was famous for the one bar coming down vertically.
You bet.
Right? Number 14, a running back for the Chiefs.
Didn't Jan Stenerud kick the winning field goal to win the game?
But the Dolphins were the Dolphins, in the heyday of the Dolphins.
Yes, it was.
And it was a great game.
Yep.
But today we have 3 on a Saturday, the day after Christmas, in this COVID environment.
We'll do our picks.
Let's pick them. What are your picks for this weekend, James?
Well, listen, first and foremost, last night was Alvin Kamara scored 6 touchdowns, which is, from an NFL perspective, hadn't seen it since Gale Sayers, right? Which we talked about when he recently passed.
By the way, I was all in on the Saints last night.
Of course, how could you not be? They had a bounce back. The Vikings are out, And Mike Zimmer, post press conference after the game, said this is the worst defense I've ever had.
Okay.
Quite a blunt statement, right? As his nose was red from falling off. And
Mike
anger.
Zimmer cares. I like Mike Zimmer used to be my defensive coordinator in Dallas forever.
But there's a possibility he gets fired because of not making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, of course.
And someone will pick him up, But all right, here's my 2 picks. I like the Raiders over the Dolphins.
Why?
Because I'm just not sold on the Dolphins winning big games.
They're 9-5.
I know that.
The Raiders are 7-7.
I understand that, but I think Gruden's going to find a way to keep his team in the playoff hunt. Anyway.
You think Gruden will wear the
L.A. Raiders or the Oakland
Las
Raiders?
Vegas Raiders hat?
Oh, that was a marketing scam. That was silly.
No, it wasn't. He grabbed the hat and put it on.
But that's one of my locks of the week, the Raiders over the Dolphins. And the other one, again, it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts getting beat by Pittsburgh today because I don't put my money on Phillip Rivers, period. And that's just the way it is. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are reeling with 3 straight losses. And, is that program in turmoil? No. But am I going to bet on Phillip Rivers? No. So lock Pittsburgh over Indy. Your locks.
All right. So this host doesn't do locks. We're okay.
I use the term in quotes, of course.
You do? Facetiously?
Lock means it's supposed to be.
Now,
it's supposed to be.
I actually took the Raiders today.
Oh, why?
I'm going to tell you why. Because they're playing so bad. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And then they get blown out by 30 something, and they look so ridiculous. But they're 7-7. The Dolphins at 9-5. I tell you what, kind of like the New York Rangers rebuild. The Miami Dolphins are so ahead of the curve right now on their rebuild. It's not even funny.
Look,
they still have assets.
And I'm a Tua fan. I'm in on this guy.
I'm a big Tua fan.
And Brian Flores, I like him too.
I'm a huge Tua fan. No. However, I think the Raiders really got to win today.
They do.
And I'm going to take a flyer that they do. Right. And so my pick today is for the Raiders. And the other pick I took that I feel pretty good about is Kyler Murray elected to the Pro Bowl. Playing the San Francisco 49ers today with Nick Mullins or C.J. Beathard at quarterback. Listen, the Cardinals still have business to take care of. They're going to beat up San Francisco today.
But we've watched Kyler Murray. He's very tough to catch. He's a good quarterback, very athletic.
I'm going back to...
But there's been a couple of games where we thought they had to win and they didn't win, and then they go beat up the New York Giants.
No, what I'm doing is I'm going back to the draft. I'm going back to Kyler Murray. And I think we were both guilty. He's too small. He's too this. He's had all, he kind of came on the scene, obviously, after Baker Mayfield, this, that, and the other thing.
But he was a logical number one.
Is he going to translate to the NFL? When I saw that he got listen, All Pro is the thing.
I guess.
And a lot of people don't know the difference. Well, he made the Pro Bowl. Big deal. It's like making the All-Star team.
Right.
Pro Bowl, All Pro means
recognized by your peers, right?
Yeah, it means you made All Pro. You're the best at your position.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he made the Pro Bowl. I think Kyler Murray's a great kid. I love watching him. And I'm so happy he made the Pro Bowl, if you will. But Kyler Murray today, I'm not going to say it's a lock, but I like the Cardinals and I like the Raiders today.
Okay. Well, listen, these are it's wide open in the NFL. Your Dallas Cowboys still have a chance to win this division, right?
No, they don't. I've been hearing this all week because
I understand that.
San Francisco.
No, but they actually
I have a 5% chance of making the playoffs.
Well, the Giants aren't going to win the division.
The Redskins and then I'm playing the Eagles tomorrow.
There's only a one game separating the division leaders.
The Cowboys are not making the playoffs, folks. It's not happening.
So what? You're saying give it to the Redskins? They got the division.
I think the Redskins are in the driver's seat.
Of course, but there's still 2 games left, 3 games left.
Yes, there's 2 games left.
Right. And you want Dwayne Haskins you know.
Well, we all know Dwayne Haskins is not going to play.
And you know
I'm
Alex Smith's not going to be playing.
I was very shocked to hear about Dwayne not wearing his face mask at a strip club this week. Really.
What a shocker.
Do you
that
think
was.
there's any correlation between the fact that he was the number one draft pick in his third string, Alex Smith gets hurt, they sign Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskins threw 50 touchdowns at Ohio State.
Ron Rivera has cancer.
No, I'm talking specifically about Dwayne Haskins.
Forget it.
Now we know Dwayne Haskins is going to be Jamarcus Russell type. That's all it means.
And I'm pretty happy
So I
from a
hope you-
Giants perspective that they drafted Daniel Jones.
So, Dwayne, I hope you enjoy your 2 more years under contract with the Washington Redskins on your rookie deal. Because guess what? You're going to be out of the league the following year.
Oh, Ron Rivera can't stand him, man. I mean, that's.
Listen,
Yep.
he's in bust territory, is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, good stuff in the NFL. We're down to the wire, and I wanted to talk about it. Like that's one of the 4 major sports that got getting a full season in. They're getting the whole season in,
They are.
right?
Yeah, they've had cancellations.
There's
and
been ups and downs. And
yeah,
so
but
forth.
they've navigated it through. And,
Yeah.
you know, again,
I mean, I still thought it was an outrage with the COVID thing that the Denver Broncos didn't have a starting quarterback to play. I thought that warranted being postponed and so forth. But overall, they're going to get it in. And the playoffs, we're going to forget all about the pandemic because the playoffs are the playoffs. Right?
yeah. So, again, we got 2 weeks to go, and then it'll be playoffs. But, yeah, do I think they're going to get it in? I do.
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl is going to be different, obviously, whoever makes it, because I don't know what they're going to do about that as far as...
I think I knew for sure who's going to make it is the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't think you were right.
No.
All along, you kept saying, I don't think they could be beat. They may win 4 in a row.
No,
you know?
I'm not going to go 4 in a row.
Just-
I have said that they're going back to back, and I'm not wavering.
Yep.
One iota.
I agree. But the NFL it's starting to get down to the wire, which is the season
And I gotta
Saturday games.
And I got to tell you, watching the Chiefs last week, offensively, Andy Reid, who calls the plays, or Bieniemy calls the plays, but the Andy Reid influence, right? But there was one play where Patrick Mahomes did a lead option, standard college, and I did that, when I played quarterback, the lead option, right? Meaning, down said hut, whether you go left or right, as the quarterback, you get the ball, and you're reading, and you roll to the defensive end. You read, if the defensive end comes to me, I'm pitching it. If the defensive end goes to the pitch guy,
I'm running it.
I'm running it.
I got it.
No, I just want to tell the audience. But that's just part of the Kansas City offense where you don't know what play is coming at any time. And this is against the Saints. And they scored, I don't know, it was on the 10-yard line, right? And Mahomes, 7 yards, and then pitches it like you were watching Steve Davis at quarterback for Oklahoma in 1974, pitching it to Elvis Peacock or something.
Right. Steve
Right?
Owen or something? Yeah, right.
Steve Davis.
Yeah.
But my point is,
You have so many options with
Kansas
this kid.
City's offense. I don't know how you defend it.
He's the king of improvisation.
As long as Kelsey's healthy, as long as Mahomes is healthy, right? I'm just telling you,
They got a lot of weapons.
They're tough to beat.
And you know from our show, we're big Andy Reid fans. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah,
he's got a great coach, great quarterback. Kansas
Absolutely.
City, things are looking good.
Yep.
You know. Listen, our next segment is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. And I spoke to them over the holidays and they're having a good time and everybody's happy and healthy and safe. And we thank them for their support.
Thank you, Mike.
Here's where we're going to go, Steve, and we got to do it because the NBA is underway.
It is.
As they say.
Yeah.
Right? Big Christmas Day, quadruple header yesterday.
Christmas Day slate yesterday.
And I actually watched some of the NBA, to be honest with you.
I took it on the chin, by the way. I took a flyer yesterday on the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, we thought they were going to win at home for Casey Jones.
They
and
only
so
lost
forth.
by, 40.
Right. and Kyrie scored like 31, and Durant was hot. I got to tell you this though, I did watch the Pelicans play, and I watched Zion really close. I'm just not sure he's going to be that dominant next kind of player like LeBron James has developed into.
Really?
Yep. And listen, we were all on board with him at Duke and so forth. But I tell you, he scored 31 points, and I was like, "What? Wait, I watched the game. When did he score 31 points?" But he did. But I watched him lumber up and down the court and so forth, and I just don't see him going to be that next marquee guy. You know, he played this guy Dragic on the Heat. Couple of great moves. These guys can shoot the lights out of the ball. That was fun to see.
Yeah.
But the NBA, you're right. I would have taken the Celtics yesterday.
Nah, I did. And the only reason I did was, Jason Tatum, I think, is a really good
Great
ball
player. Great
I
player.
just thought Boston would show up.
Yeah.
And but this KD, Kyrie Irving,
I think they want.
unison. And listen, the Nets have a Joe Harris. They got
Jared Allen was.
They
was a
got
good
a
player.
couple of good guys, and I'm gonna stay firm. I still think Harden is going there.
I told you. He is
It
causing
is
such
ridiculous
chaos,
that
and
I'm saying this, but I think he's going there.
And I think the Rockets are going to say, we are not going to kowtow to your demands.
Oh yes,
And-
yes they are.
But he is causing havoc on that franchise, man.
Oh.
He has turned into some kind
Boy,
of a
he-
disappointment.
What a superstar James Harden is! Wow.
But I still
I'll leave
think,
it at that, folks.
here's my conclusion on the NBA. They want, and we talked about Adam Silver, he's a genius. What would be best for the NBA? To have the the Lakers and Kevin Durant and the Nets in the NBA Finals, and that's how it's going to be. They want LeBron
It's
James
too-
versus
You
Durant.
always do this. They want.
But you don't think there's that kind of control in the NBA? Anthony Davis.
It's
wanted
like
to-
all four sports. You always come up with, you're like, these are the two teams we want, and we're going to make it.
I'm going to sit here on the show 6 months from now, and it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets versus the Los Angeles Lakers.
What about the
in
Milwaukee Bucks? The Brooklyn
Out.
Nets?
I watched them yesterday. I
Oh, they
watched
stink.
Giannis.
They stink.
Outside of Giannis, they don't have anything around them.
Really?
They're not going
Did
anywhere.
they win yesterday?
Of course, they played an inferior team.
Yes.
And
Do you really think Kyrie Irving is playing how many games? He'll be out for 6 weeks.
But they want Kevin Durant versus LeBron James in the NBA Finals, and that's how it's going to
Well,
be.
I think that would be probably a pretty good, attractive final.
All right. Well, here's one last note on the NBA, and you know how close this guy is to my heart. He's a Niagara graduate, Hubie Brown.
Yes.
And we were listening to the game yesterday, and he's 84, and he's giving it his all, but boy, this is it. This is Dick Clark on New Year's Eve kind of thing.
This is Dick Clark with Bell's palsy.
And I told you, I've met him, I've talked to him, he's a great guy, but it's
Yeah.
it's over.
Jim and I spent Christmas Eve together, and the game was yesterday.
Yep.
And I was watching it with my son, right? And I heard the volume in the commentary.
Thought the TV was broken.
I swear. Listen, right? This is not rehearsed or scripted.
And it's not a
We
joke.
didn't-
We
didn't-
worship Hubie Brown.
No, but you and I did not talk about this at all until probably, 15 seconds before we went live.
Yep. And we noticed the same
Did you
exact
notice
thing.
Hubie? Did you hear Hubie Brown? Right? We worship Hubie Brown.
You bet.
Folks, this is the last year Hubie Brown will be
Yep.
on TV because Father Time has caught up to him.
Yep.
And I knew.
But what a
in
run
his
he's
voice.
had. What a
Oh,
run
he's
he's
still,
had.
he's going to make it throughout the year.
Anyway, But listen, we're going to go on to our final segment. It's notable passings. And Steve, there's been a couple in the world
Hockey?
of sports. You know?
We have anything hockey related to
Well,
talk about before our standard notable passings?
We could talk about hockey real quick, and that they approved the 56 game schedule,
Yes, they did.
divisional kind of thing. So we'll see the Rangers, Flyers, and this is the new look Rangers.
Listen,
right?
all they did is they broke it up into four divisions now, right? Basically northwest, east, south, or however you want to, call it. So the top four of all four divisions will make the playoffs, and the Rangers will play the Flyers 59 times, and the Capitals 59 times, and
Right.
that type of thing. But I think it's smart from a geographical perspective, right? That's what it's about. COVID, this, that, and the other thing. So this year it'll be 56 games. Hopefully this COVID shit goes away, and then next year it gets back
Eventually, we'll get back to
to
what
the
it was.
Lester Patrick and Adams division.
That's
and
right.
the
82
Smythe,
game
and the
season.
Smythe division. That type of thing.
The Norris.
And the Norris.
But I'm looking forward to hockey.
Hell yeah.
I really am. And we know
I can't wait to see my boy Alexis Lafreniere taking the ice of the New York
could be the new Sid the Kid coming up. Right?
He is going to be.
Gonna- Looking forward to that. But you're
Can't
right.
wait to get my Lafreniere jersey.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
He's got to score 50 goals before I'm buying a jersey.
I have every confidence this kid is scoring 50 goals. He's my new DJ LeMahieu.
I hope so.
He's going to be.
Listen,
DJ
we're
LeMahieu.
huge David Quinn fans, and the rebuilding project is underway. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Notable, Steve. You know who passed away this week was Kevin Green.
That
from
is
the NFL.
correct, sir.
And you know what? Kind of caught me off guard. I knew he was a dominant player. We loved him and so forth, but third all time in sacks. I wouldn't have got that.
No, I knew
I
that.
thought he was top 10.
No, I knew that. I was at work. I think Kevin died, Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah.
58 years old. I'm 50. I'm going to be 56 next month. So, and not that you're older.
I got sneakers older than that.
Listen, Kevin Green. So, what do we think of Kevin Green? Kevin Green, Los Angeles Rams,
And then the Steelers.
St. Louis Rams, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right? Pittsburgh Steelers.
Those were the two teams. he had to
Carolina
say then.
Panthers. So he made first team All-Pro.
49ers, too.
Yeah, but he made first team All-Pro as a Pittsburgh Steeler one year and his first year in Carolina.
Yeah.
Am I going to taint Kevin Green by saying, do I think Kevin Green was a steroid guy? Never got questioned.
No.
But I'm not naive to think Kevin Green didn't take steroids. Okay? Believe me, I've been in locker rooms. I know all about it. I'm not besmirching him in any way. Kevin Green is a Hall of Fame, third all time. But I knew he was third all time.
And when the Hall
You
of
know who
Fame
number
came up,
one is?
Bruce Smith or
At 200
Reggie White.
No, yeah, Bruce Smith at 200, and the Minister of Defense, I don't know, 197, something like that.
Yeah.
But Kevin Green.
And that's
Yes,
after stats were starting to be
But my-
compiled, right?
So
You know.
my point is, I was sad, very sad to hear about it.
Yep.
And then before the show, you and I were talking. There's guys that the sack term wasn't officially started until
I'm going to say the early 80s or something,
Something
right? Late
along-
70s, maybe.
And of course, the most ridiculous thing is that Michael Strahan has the single season sack record.
Yep.
That still upsets me to this day.
We talked about it.
But Deacon Jones does not get his due because Deacon Jones perhaps may have had 220. I'm throwing an arbitrary number at
How
that.
many would Chuck Bednarik have for crying out
No,
loud?
Chuck
Those
was a
guys,
linebacker. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about.
Deacon Jones.
Changed the game.
Yeah, but also
Outlawed the head slap.
the only reason I'm bringing Deacon Jones, we're talking sacks. I think Deacon Jones, I think it's a general consensus from the generation, our father to, the older generation. It was said, this guy, the head slap, right? You even brought that up. Deacon Jones, the head slap got outlawed because of a Deacon Jones. You know how many head slaps he must have gotten and how many sacks after that head slap? Because the right offensive pussy tackles like, Deacon head slapped me.
Yeah.
Right? No. So, but Kevin Green's a notable passer.
Since an official stat, it means something.
Sorry to hear.
And he was a good guy. He was well liked in the NFL community. Public persona.
I'm glad
was
you
nice.
brought that up because to me, Kevin Green is considered one of the good guys.
Absolutely.
Well respected.
Great career.
Great sense of humor. He was like the jokester in the locker room.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do, if he gives you, lights your sneakers on fire? What are you going to go fight Kevin Green?
If you put mashed potatoes on your seat,
It could be
from
anything.
Brian's song.
Right. You got to wear a cheerleader uniform. Okay, Mr. Green.
But we consider ourselves
Notable passing, Kevin
big
Green.
time.
R.I.P.
No
Big
doubt
time.
about it. And another one that just happened, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, Casey Jones.
Yes.
And, the first thing that came to my mind that this guy was class. And actually, Larry Bird came out with a statement said, Casey Jones was the nicest man I've ever met. And only Sam Jones and Bill Russell have more NBA titles as a player.
Yep.
But after his career, he went on and won two rings as an assistant coach. And I think,
with
the
Lake-
Celtics.
Well, I
He
know.
was an assistant with the Lakers.
I know a lot about Casey Jones.
Yeah.
So, again, I went to Boston University. So I was a freshman in 1983. Casey Jones took over for Bill Fitch.
Right.
Bill Fitch was the coach in '81 when the Celtics won the world championship back then. So Bird, that was the first championship under Bird. Casey Jones was an assistant. Casey Jones was a point guard for the Boston Celtics. Casey Jones won 2 national championships with the University of San Francisco Dons, and he was a teammate of Bill Russell. Casey Jones won 8 NBA titles as a member of the Boston Celtics. Like Jim said, there's only a couple guys with a couple more. So Casey Jones became the head coach of the Boston Celtics as I was going to college, and I was able to watch Bird, McHale, Parrish, Dennis Johnson, and that team. It was great. It was just great. But Casey Jones was considered to be one of the good guys.
Yep.
One of, again, the amount of rings he got. You mentioned he was an assistant coach, I think, with the Lakers in like the early 70s, that type of thing. But Casey Jones, when I read that he passed away, I think it was 88, I think I saw.
He was 88 years old.
And I saw it, and I said, I got to see Casey Jones an awful lot. And when I saw the news, I felt saddened.
Yeah.
And an absolute R.I.P. So Casey Jones, job well done. And it was funny because Bob Cousy made a comment about Casey Jones. Like, what a bad shooter he was. Like, shooting.
Right.
He averaged 8 points. Like, won the 8 national...
He was a lunch pail guy.
He won 8 titles with the Celtics, but he couldn't shoot it. Couldn't hit the... And Bob Cousy making that statement. But what does that tell you about him?
Yep.
When you play basketball, it's all about rebounding, defense, effort.
Especially on that team
Oh,
with the tradition of the Celtics.
Yeah.
And
So, Casey Jones, R.I.P.
big time.
It touched me yesterday.
And we used to watch him, Steve and I used to watch that Sunday afternoon games, right? With Larry Bird and
Sure.
the Nuggets, Dan Issel,
Parrish,
the Sixers, right? Caldwell Jones, and we watched it. But Casey
Dr.
Jones,
J.
it was awesome to watch.
That was basketball.
That was when the NBA was exciting to watch.
Red on round ball.
Smoking a cigar while teaching you how to set a pick.
Totally. And then what you do is you move your foot over
Hold
here.
this cigar, will
Hold
you?
this cigar.
Excellent. But totally, R.I.P. for Casey Jones.
Yeah.
But listen, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'd love to hear from you. We got some good emails over the holidays from some of our loyal listeners, James Walls, Tony, etc. Send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear from you. Listen, the next time we talk to you, it'll be 2021. It won't be 2020 anymore.
Oh my God.
Let's
Oh
hope-
my God.
I can't believe I lived this for
Oh
this
my
long.
God.
But anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch up to you guys next week. And Steve,
Hey.
enjoy the week and Happy New
Any
Year.
comments? sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com.
Yep.
And thank you as always for listening.
And we'll catch up to you next week.
And we're taking our show to Pennsylvania in a little while, aren't we,
I
Jay?
guess. I'm just a passenger.
Nah, but we're going to go visit a brother in the Keystone State and try and get a feel for what's going on with the Sixers and Eagles and Flyers and
Exactly. He's much Pennsylvania. I spend more time in Pennsylvania than him. But anyway, enjoy the week, and hope you had a great Christmas. And enjoy your New Year, folks. Be good.
bye.